Hello students, welcome to AriserTalent. As you know, we are studying very important chapter of NCERT, that is control and coordination. Okay, in this chapter we have already studied about many things, like we have studied about neurons, we have studied about the brain, spinal cord. Okay, and in previous lecture we have already studied about the chemical control and coordination in animals, in which I gave you the general idea about the endocrine glands and their secretion, which is known as hormone. Okay, so let's discuss that. Today we are going to talk about the human endocrine glands and their hormonal secretion. What are endocrine glands? Generally, endocrine glands means they lack duct. Okay, what is endocrine gland? Endocrine gland means endocrine glands means they lack duct and they directly pour their secretion in the bloodstream. Okay, so these are the features of endocrine gland, and the chemical which they secrete is known as hormone. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the hormonal secretion of different endocrine glands. So first of all, we will talk about hypothalamus. 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 Here we can see the structure of brain. In my previous lecture, when I taught you about the brain, that time also I shown you the part of the brain, and at that time I told you that hypothalamus is present generally here only. Okay, so now as we are going to talk about hypothalamus, so we all know that hypothalamus is present at the base of the brain. Okay, now here we can see this is hypothalamus. Now this is made up of this is made up of many nervous tissues. Okay, now it secretes several neurohormones. They are generally known as releasing hormone or inhibiting hormones. Let's talk about hypothalamus. It is present at the base of the brain. Okay, it is made up of, it consists, or I must say it consists many nervous tissues, or we must say it is composed of many nervous tissues. Here you can mention composed of, it will be easy for you to learn. It composed of many nervous tissues. Okay, generally neurohormonal, generally these nervous cells secrete many neurohormones. Okay, these nervous secretory, or I must say neurosecretory cells, neurosecretory cells of it secretes several neurohormones. Okay, and generally these neurohormones are known as releasing hormone or inhibiting hormone. These neurohormone are known as releasing hormone. Releasing hormone means RH, and inhibitory factor or hormone. Okay, means IF or IH. Okay, now these releasing hormone or inhibitory hormones are carried to pituitary gland to stimulate the secretion of pituitary hormones. Clear? So this is all about the hypothalamus. Now we will talk about pituitary gland. Next is pituitary gland. Next is pituitary gland. Here we can see the structure of pituitary gland. Generally it is red or grey in color. Okay, it is small and generally oval shape, and it is attached to hypothalamus with a stalk. Okay, let me write here. It is small, red, grey in color. And what? It is red grey in color, oval shaped. Okay, it is small, red grey in color, oval shaped, and attached to hypothalamus by stalk. Okay, this is all about pituitary gland. Generally it has three parts. It has three parts. What are they? Anterior lobe, intermediate lobe, and posterior lobe or posterior lobe. Okay, generally pituitary gland has three parts: anterior lobe, intermediate lobe and posterior lobe. These all lobes secrete special hormones. Now we will talk about, first of all, about the anterior lobe. Generally anterior lobe secretes 6 types of hormones. One is anterior lobe, This anterior lobe secretes 6 types of hormones. It secretes 6 hormones. Okay, what are they? Follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, Okay, then adrenocorticotropic hormone. Okay, then somatotropic hormone, also known as growth hormone, and prolactin hormone. Okay. Generally, these are 6 special hormones which are secreted by anterior lobe. Now, we will talk about them in detail. Now, we will talk about the hormones in the detail. Number 1, we will talk about follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, follicle stimulating hormone. What is the function of it? It generally stimulates the what? It stimulates the male hormone. Okay, and it stimulates the production of sperms in the testes and ovaries, and it helps in the production of ovaries in females. Okay, it stimulates the production of sperms in the testes and in females ovule follicles. Okay, next is luteinizing hormone. Generally, it is known as LH. Okay, what is the function of luteinizing hormone? Generally, it produces the male hormone named as androgen. It induces the cells in the testes of male to produce male sex hormone, that is androgen. Okay, and in the females, it causes ovulation and secretion of female sex hormone, that is estrogen. Let me mention here estrogen. Okay, so what we studied about? We studied about the follicle stimulating hormone, that is it stimulates the production of sperms in the testes, and in the females it causes the growth of ovulation, ovarian follicles. Let me mention it here, let me write the complete sentence. In females, growth of ovarian follicles. Okay, as it is the follicle stimulating hormone, so it is increasing the growth of ovarian follicles in the females. Luteinizing hormone, generally what it does, it induces the cells in the testes of male to produce male sex organ, male sex hormone, that is known as androgens. Okay, and in females it causes ovulation, means formation of eggs, and secretion of female sex hormone, that is estrogen. Fine. Now next we will talk about thyroid stimulating hormone. Next is thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, that is also known as TSH. Okay, as the name itself defines, we can understand by its title only that this hormone stimulates the growth of thyroid gland and causes the production of thyroid hormone. It stimulates the growth of thyroid gland and secretion of thyroid hormone. Okay, I will explain you about the thyroid gland in the detail further on. So first of all, let me tell you that this hormone generally which is secreted by the pituitary gland, that is thyroid stimulating hormone. So it stimulates the growth of thyroid gland and generally secretion of thyroid hormone. Okay, now next we are going to talk about adrenocorticotropic hormone. Okay, and it is known as ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. It is known as ACTH. Okay, what is the function of it? Generally, it induces the adrenal cortex to secrete its hormones. Okay, let me mention here that it stimulates the adrenal cortex to secrete, generally it stimulates the growth of adrenal cortex and secrete its hormones. Okay, what is the function of adrenocorticotropic? As the name itself defines, means adrenocortic means which is related to adrenal cortex. So it stimulates the adrenal cortex to grow and secrete its hormones, to grow and secrete its hormone. Now next we will talk about the somatotropic hormone, which is also known as growth hormone. Next is somatotropic hormone. Somatotropic hormone, generally known as SH or growth hormone. So what is the function of somatotropic hormone? Generally it stimulates the growth of the tissues. Okay, it stimulates the growth of tissues. Okay, and disorder of these hormones are, if we talk about the disorder of this hormone, what are they? Generally dwarfism. Okay, generally it is caused due to the deficiency of SH or GH hormone. It is caused due to the deficiency of growth hormone in the early age. Okay, next is gigantism. It is caused due to the excess secretion of growth hormone in the childhood. Okay, it is caused due to the excess secretion of growth hormone from the childhood. Okay, so these are the disorders which are caused due to the deficiency or due to the excess secretion of growth hormone. Which is the growth hormone? That is somatotropic hormone or growth hormone, means GH, also known as GH. Okay, now next is prolactin hormone. That is PH. Next is prolactin hormone or known as PH. Okay, generally it stimulates the growth of milk glands during the pregnancy. It stimulates the growth of milk gland during the pregnancy. Okay, so here we studied about the hormones which are secreted by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Now we will talk about the hormones which are secreted by the intermediate lobe and posterior lobe. Next, intermediate lobe, generally it secretes the single hormone. Okay, it secretes single hormone, that is melanocyte stimulating hormone. Next is intermediate lobe, intermediate lobe of pituitary gland. Okay, it secretes single hormone that is that is known as melanocytotic generally it is known as melanocyte stimulating hormone. Okay, intermediate lobe of pituitary gland generally secretes a single hormone that is known as melanocyte stimulating hormone. What is the function of this hormone? Generally it helps to synthesize melanin, which is black pigment. Okay, it is melanocyte stimulating hormone. Function of it is to synthesize melanin, black pigment that is known as melanin. Okay, so this melanocyte stimulating hormone, which is known as MSH, okay, it synthesizes the black pigment that is known as melanin. Okay, now next we will talk about posterior lobe. Now we will talk about posterior lobe of pituitary gland. As I told you that posterior lobe also secretes two type of hormones. Third one is posterior lobe of pituitary gland. Generally it secretes two type of hormones. What are they? Oxytocin and vasopressin. Okay, oxytocin and vasopressin. Generally this oxytocin contracts the muscles in the uterus during the birth of young one. Okay, generally this oxytocin, it contracts the smooth muscles of uterus during the birth of young one. Okay, next is vasopressin. So generally what it does, it increases, generally it is also known as anti-diuretic hormone. Okay, means ADH. What it does? Generally it reduces the loss of water in the urine and increases the reabsorption of water in the tubules and ducts in the kidney. Okay, vasopressin, it reduces the loss of water in the urine and increases the reabsorption of water in the tubules and ducts in the kidney. Okay. Disorder of this vasopressin is that, as it is also known as antidiuretic hormone. So what is the function of it? It reduces the loss of water, okay, and increases the reabsorption of water in the tubules and ducts in the kidney. So if it will be absent, okay, so what will happen? So in case the deficiency of ADH hormone or in the absence of ADH hormone, what will happen? This condition will be just opposite, means that the loss of water will be increases and the reabsorption of water in the kidney will be reduces, okay, and that condition is known as diabetes, okay, insipidus, okay. So this is the disorder of vasopressin. Now we are going to talk about the hypothalamus and pituitary hormones, okay, how the secretion of hypothalamus stimulates the secretion of pituitary hormones. So here we are going to talk about that. Number 1 is thyrotropin releasing hormone. Generally it is which hormone? It is hypothalamic hormone, and when it is secreted, then what is the response of pituitary? That thyroid stimulating hormone secretion. When the thyrotropin hormone is released, then the effect of it on pituitary is that thyroid stimulating hormone is also secreted, okay, and the target organ is thyroid. Next is adrenocorticotropin releasing hormone, okay. When it is released, then the response of pituitary will be that the adrenocorticotropic hormone will be secreted here in the pituitary gland, okay, and the target organ will be adrenal cortex, which is generally present at the top of kidneys in the pair. Next is follicle stimulating hormone. When it is released, then it affects the response of pituitary, like follicle stimulating hormone also secretes here from the pituitary gland, and the target organ of it will be ovary and testes, which I have already explained in you the lecture. Next is luteinizing hormone. When it is released, then in the pituitary again luteinizing hormone will be secreted, okay, and the target organ here will be ovary and testes. Next we will talk about growth hormone releasing hormone. When it is secreted, then the target here is pituitary gland, and in the pituitary gland growth hormone means somatotropic hormone will be secreted, okay, and the target will be most tissues because it helps in the growth of most tissues. Next is growth hormone release inhibiting hormone or somatostatin. Then in the pituitary gland growth hormone secretion will be inhibited, okay. Next is prolactin releasing hormone will be secreted by the hypothalamus. Then the target in the pituitary will be what? Then in the pituitary gland protecting hormone or lutetropic hormone will be secreted, and the target organ will be mammary gland, means they will increase the growth of milk glands, okay, during the pregnancy. Prolactin releasing inhibiting hormone by the hypothalamus, and then it will be carried to the pituitary gland to secrete its hormone. And which hormone will be secreted here? Prolactin secretion inhibited, okay. So it was all about the different hormones. Next is melanocyte stimulation hormone, which is generally released by intermediate lobe of the pituitary gland here. So here we can say that the intermediate lobe of pituitary will stimulate the hormone which will be melanocyte, okay, and this melanocyte will release the melanin, okay, and that is known as skin pigment cell, okay. The target organ will be skin pigment cell and it will release the melanin, okay. Next is melanocyte stimulating hormone release inhibiting hormone. As I told you, generally hypothalamus release two types of hormone. One is releasing hormone and another is inhibiting hormone, okay. So once it release inhibiting hormones, then here in the pituitary gland melanocyte stimulating hormone secretion inhibited. Okay, then again the target will be skin pigment. So this was all about the summary of the hypothalamus hormones and the effect of them on the pituitary gland and its secretion. So hope everything is clear to you. Thank you.